What's up, everybody? This is Late Great Game Reviews. I'm Apollo, and this week I'm reviewing Gravity Rush. It's for the PS Vita. It came out back in 2012. It's developed by SCE Japan Studio, or a Project Siren, who's basically a subsection of Japan Studio. It's an awesome game. Liked it a lot. I've been meaning to play it for a while, so I really liked it a lot. Just to dive right in, it's about this girl named Kat who mysteriously falls out of the sky and lands perfectly undamaged in this city known as Hexaville. She awakens with no knowledge of who she is, and she has these strange gravity-defying powers, which is the gameplay staple of the game. The stories, and there's these strange monsters known as Nevi that are basically invading the world of Hexaville and have basically taken sections of the city that Kat has to retrieve. And it's basically just a journey of her finding out who she is. Like trying to retrieve her memories of who she is, what she is, and trying to defeat the Nevi and save Hexaville. And it's the story is awesome. The mystery of trying to unravel Kat's identity, who she is, where she came from is it's very intriguing. It keeps you glued to the screen. The gameplay is awesome. Um, you can use like melee you can use like melees like kicks, but you can also the combat system's pretty cool because it integrates the gravity defying powers into it. So you can do something like the gravity controls are super simple. On the Vita, it's just you hold R to float, and you have all these different abilities from stasis bubbles to things like gravity kicks. To gravity slides, to even these special super attacks, basically. These special abilities that are really helpful when you are just swarmed by hordes of enemies or if you're against the boss. Speaking of boss battles, too, the boss battles are they're pretty well balanced. I liked them, I got through most of them, like, they were all pretty challenging, but I got through most of them all in one go, except for the last boss of the game. It took me about three times for that one. Not too bad at all. A little bit frustrating that final boss, but still, again, didn't take very much time, and it feels appropriately challenging. So that's what's really important. The soundtrack is top notch. It's just this bolstering orchestral soundtrack. There's also the jazz pieces and all these different mixes of music depending on which district in Hexaville you're in, and you unlock these districts. You can unlock the different districts by basically progressing through the game and also fixing different like broken down facilities throughout the game. So the currency in the game are precious gems, and you can use these precious gems to not only upgrade Cat's powers. Yes, there's an upgrade system. It's cool. But also to pay a very small amount to upgrade these broken down facilities and access different parts of the city. There's four different districts in all, plus some other really really cool environments and levels that you get to explore outside of the district. But we're not going to spoil that. That's too good. Um, yeah, and once you unlock these broken down facilities, you automatically unlock these challenges, which are just they're not part of the story. There's outside challenges that can net you a good amount of precious gems. You get challenges like timed attacks, which is basically you just have to defeat waves of Nevi. Before the timer runs out, and sometimes you have to do it in different ways, like using your bubble to throw objects, and that's the only way you can defeat the Nevi. There are also a bunch of different types of races that you can unlock. Race challenges. Like energy races and races where like sometimes you can only use this move called the gravity slide, where you hold down both the corners of the screen for the PS Vita, and Cat she slides through she can just slide across the ground, and you sort of tilt the Vita to control her. The gravity slide in particular is the motion sensor controls are kind of all over the place in the game. That is one gripe I have, is that like I no matter how much I adjusted the sensitivity for the motion control, like it I couldn't get down the gravity slide after playing the game, which is about 10 hours with just the campaign, and I still couldn't get the hang of it because it feels weird, and also it's just not done well. But yeah, you have races like that, and you have races where you don't have any energy, don't have any gravity energy. And you have to collect gravity energy and slowly build up your gravity meter, your gravity gauge, until you can gravity kick or travel across uh, from checkpoint to checkpoint, basically. And that's how that's how it works. There's a gravity gauge. That's how the whole game works, and the cat's abilities work. There's a gravity gauge, and once that empties out, then you basically just if you're in the sky, because using the gravity abilities is like the best way to travel. You travel so fast, you basically flying across a pretty expansive city, and it's really cool. And if you run out of your gravity meter, if you're high in the sky, you just fall, and your gravity meter usually will, especially if you upgrade it, even like once or twice, it will refill pretty quickly, and you can just like get right back up there without like dying or anything. I really didn't die that often in the game, um, but again, it's appropriately challenging, not easy, which is nice. Let's see also, I mentioned the motion controls kind of being all over the place. That's not to say that the touch controls aren't, because the touch controls feel pretty good. There's not. Yeah, I mean the touch controls feel pretty good. There's not that much implementation of the touch controls, but when you have to use them, they feel pretty good. Fairly intuitive. The one thing that really bugged me, and it really does affect the gameplay. It are the sort of disorienting camera angles. If you're in a battle with a boss, and this happens so many times, or even just with other Nevi all around, and you're using your gravity defying skills, and you're up in the air, and gravity kicking and doing your special attacks, sometimes, a lot of times actually, and it gets worse and worse as the game progresses, and the battles get more complex, and you have to do more intricate things to take out the bosses. um, the camera angles are just, I mean, you sometimes you can literally not tell which way is up, because you're falling, and the camera is still, it doesn't necessarily center itself right away. So you'll be falling, out of the sky, and then you'll activate your gravity, and you'll start to boost back up towards where you need to go, but the camera will still be upside down, and it sometimes it just whirls around as you're like mid battle, and it's it gets really frustrating. That was definitely my biggest complaint in the game. Um, but there was something else too, about just one other thing. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I mean, that being said, the game is still terrific. Like I said, there's some really cool environments. The game is beautiful. It's in anime style, right? So it's literally the cutscenes are anime, um, and then some of them are just like sort of like, they're literally, some of them are comic panels, like, so it's like manga too. And it's just beautifully drawn. It's so pretty, such a pretty game. Great character design, great creature design for the Nevi too. There's so many different variations of them, big and small, tall, and they're these monstrous things, and they look really like weird pieces of art. It's kind of strange, but they look really cool. So yeah, that's Gravity Rush. I liked it a lot. I'm gonna give it an 8.3 out of 10. Um, Can't wait for the sequel. It was just announced, or it was announced actually a while back. But I can't wait for it. I don't know when it's release date hasn't been announced yet, but can't wait. So yeah, that's Gravity Rush. I'm Apollo. This has been Late Great Game Reviews. I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, next week.